Moza has just announced the Aircross S, a 700-gram hybrid gimbal that you can use with your smartphone and your regular camera and your 360-degree camera, and it has a payload of up to 1.8 kilograms. Let's check this out. Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Julian. I'm the creator of Smartphone Filmmaking Pro, which is the ultimate online course about smartphone filmmaking. And today I'm super excited to share with you my experiences of the Moza Aircross S. This is this gimbal right here, and yeah, this is a hybrid gimbal that you can use with your smartphone, as you can see, but something that is really cool, you can also use it with your smartphone with add-ons, with a cage and with lights and with lenses and filters and so on, but you can also use this with your camera and even with your 360-degree camera. I've had this gimbal for about a week now, and in this video I'll share with you everything that you need to know and of course my experiences. So let's get started. So first of all, let's take a closer look at the price and the packaging content. This gimbal is currently priced at around about $269, which is very competitive considering what you get in this package. You have to remember that this gimbal has a payload of up to 1.7 kilograms, which is very high for these kinds of hybrid gimbals. Inside of the box you get a very nice carrying case that you can use to store your gimbal safely, but it is big enough to also put in some camera gear or your phone or some add-on lenses or lights or whatever that you would like to take with you. And that's something that is really cool because this case actually offers some protection, and that's really nice. Next to that you get of course the gimbal itself and a little table tripod that you can screw onto the bottom of the gimbal. You also get a quick release plate, and of course you also get a phone mount, and that's basically it. That's also very comparable to what you get with other gimbals. Next up, let's take a closer look at the design and the button layout. And I have to say, I think that this gimbal looks really nice. I really like the black and white combination. And to be honest, at first glance, when I saw the first picture and when I saw it first, standing the gimbal, I thought that this part of the gimbal looks a bit weird where you have the joystick. This is just something that you do not see usually on other gimbals. But actually, by the time I was using it, I found this really helpful. And the way on how this is built is that you can actually place your thumb all the time on the joystick. And this is just very ergonomically built, which makes it super comfortable to shoot for longer periods of time. Overall, I have to say that this is probably the most ergonomically fitted gimbal that I have ever held in my hands. This gimbal definitely is not the smallest gimbal that you can get out there, and in case you only want to film with your smartphone without any add-ons, then I think this gimbal is probably a bit overkill for you, and there will be better options for you. But by the time you're also thinking about using your smartphone with a cage, or maybe you also want to invest into a DSLR camera down the road or something like this, then I think this gimbal is a very fantastic choice. But now let's take a closer look at all of the buttons that you get. And something that is very obvious is of course the joystick, and depending on in which mode you're in, you can just turn to the right, to the left, up and down, so whatever that you like. Next to that you have a little button where you can navigate through the menu and where you can also change between the different modes. Next to that you have a nice little screen where you can actually see in which mode you're in. You can navigate through the menu and all of that. At the back of the gimbal you have this button that you can tap twice to recenter the gimbal. You can tap it 3 times to go into selfie mode, and there are a bunch of different commands depending on how often you tap it. But again, tap it twice to recenter it for regular shooting. Above that you have a little button that you can press to start and stop your recording. That's really handy, that's really nice. And also, like I said, just everything is super ergonomically and just at the spot where you can reach it all the time without it being uncomfortable to hold. So that, like I said, I think this is just very well designed. On the other side you have a USB Type-C port. You can use that to charge the gimbal, and also the battery life is really fantastic, so I had not any issues with that at all. Next to that you have the power button. You can turn it on and off, and above that you can lock some axes. The next category that I have for you is all about the balancing and the payload. And first of all, let's talk quickly about the payload. This small gimbal here has a payload of up to 1.7 kilograms, times. So in case you're primarily shooting with your smartphone, you can basically throw anything at it. This will handle it no problem at all, which is just super handy. You know, shooting with a setup like this with a small rig cage and an add-on lens, an anamorphic in this case, it's just super nice, and it's very difficult to do this with a regular smartphone gimbal. But of course, besides to using this with a smartphone setup, you can also use it with your DSLR setup. Unfortunately, as of right now, as of recording of this video, I do not own a regular DSLR camera, so I could not test this, but I will definitely do this in the future. And in case you want to see that, you can follow me on Instagram. I will link it down below. So how is the balancing process of this gimbal? That's also a concern that a lot of people have, because they think it will be super complicated and that they won't be able to balance this easily and quickly. And I have to say, when I did this for the very first time, it took me a minute to get used to this, but by the time I understood like how everything is working, I can get this gimbal balanced in less than a minute, and I'm sure you can do this as well. I won't go more in detail on how you can balance this. Let me know if that's something that you would like to see, then I will make a full-on video about this. But generally speaking, it's just super simple to do it, and I like it that I have more options to actually balance the gimbal, because then I can help the gimbal so that the motors do not have to work as hard. Then the battery lasts longer, the gimbal itself will last longer, and basically it's a win for everybody. Before we'll come to the next few categories, in case you are enjoying the video, then make sure to give it a like and also hit that subscribe button. About 80% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure to do that, as it's helping the algorithm and it's helping my channel. So thank you very much. So next up, let's talk about all the different modes that you get. And to sum it up very shortly, you get all the different modes that gimbals can offer. So I'll just walk you through that very quickly. You have the tilt follow mode, you have the FPV mode, so that's really nice to just, you know, get some very creative shots. I've used that for a music video a lot recently. You also get the lock mode, so basically all the axes are locked. That's really nice for hyperlapses, for example. But then you also get the pan follow, the tilt follow, and you also have a vortex mode, so I think you have to press it 3 times. They call it inception mode. And yeah, basically you can just make a full 360-degree spin. Also, that's something that not all gimbals can do. So yeah, basically it ticks all the boxes when it comes to the modes, and yeah, that's really nice. The next category that I have for you is my personal shooting experience. And I have mostly been shooting in this setup that you can see right here with the cage and with the anamorphic lens. I have to say, I just really enjoyed using this setup and, you know, using this setup as a whole. I think that it just works absolutely perfectly for me personally. The weight was not super heavy. I could easily shoot with this for an entire day. The looks that I got were absolutely fantastic because of the anamorphic lens, because of the iPhone 14 Pro, and of course also because of the stability of the gimbal. We will talk more about that in the next category. But overall, I have to say that my experiences shooting with this gimbal were very, very positive. I really enjoyed it. The learning curve was really flat. I got used to it very quickly, and I'm sure you can do that too. One thing that might be a bit annoying for you, depending on what types of videos you shoot, the switching from landscape to vertical shooting will take about 30 seconds to 1 minute. It's not difficult at all, don't get me wrong, you can do that very quickly and it works without any problems at all, but it will take a bit longer compared to your, I don't know, your regular smartphone gimbal where you only press a button twice. But just keep that in mind. If that's something that you do all the time, switching from vertical to horizontal shooting, then it will take about 30 seconds to a minute. The next category is all about the stability and the smoothness of the shots that you can get with this setup right here and with this gimbal in general. And that section can be very short. The shots that you can get with this setup here are absolutely perfect. I did not have any issues at all. I even have turned off the internal stabilization of my iPhone with this setup here because of the anamorphic lens. And yeah, the shots look absolutely perfect, as you also can see them throughout the video. And yeah, so when it comes to the stability and the smoothness, this is definitely on top and at the highest level of what you can get these days. So what is my conclusion of the Moza Aircross S? And overall, I have to say, in case you are looking for a hybrid gimbal, or in case you're looking for a gimbal that can just handle heavier payloads like this setup right here, or maybe you also want to add a microphone or whatever that you would like to have, then this gimbal is definitely a fantastic choice for you. If you only want to shoot with your naked smartphone without any add-ons at all, then of course you can still use this gimbal and it will serve you very well. But I think in this case, maybe looking at a cheaper alternative will be better for you. And in case you also have a regular DSLR camera, then I would also lean towards this one. Let me know if you guys have any more questions about this specific gimbal. I would love to help you out. And in case you would like to learn more about filming with your smartphone in general, then definitely make sure to click the first link below that like button. That will bring you to our totally free webinar where I share the top 5 secrets to shooting cinematic videos with your smartphone. But that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And in case you have not seen the comparison of the iPhone 12 to the iPhone 14, there are 2 years difference between these phones. Then make sure to watch this video over there. It was very, very interesting. Bye bye.